Good morning. It's another Monday morning, another beginning, another opportunity to become a creator and leave the past behind, a fresh start. Yesterday I was talking to my Spanish crowd about when things go sour, okay? And that even in adversity, we can find a ray of hope. So I will be just disclosing two cases. One of them I might have discussed it in a few videos ago. So we have a patient who um, had a endometrial ablation a few years back, and had a tubal ligation and endometrial ablation, which is very common. Then remarried and wanted to try to see if she could restore her lining. We've been working for 2 years because when we originally met, she barely had any periods at all. She might have some spotting on certain months. So we've been working on. She's had 3 hysteroscopies with lysis of adhesions to open up the cavity, multiple treatments, like, oh my God, something like 10 PRPs, acupuncture, heat pads, fertility massage, hormone management, in order to get her to a place that she could actually do a transfer. And so when we got there, it was a super accomplishment. She did go through PGT testing, so she's only been transferring normal embryos. First 2 transfers failed, but to our surprise, her third transfer resulted in a intrauterine pregnancy. Everything was going fabulous. We were all like super excited. Um, she worked so hard to get there. I mean, we're talking about 2 years just working on the uterus to get it to a place that she could transfer. And unfortunately, last week, when she came for her obstetrical ultrasound or her follow up obstetrical ultrasound, the fetal heart rate has stopped. Pregnancy was going perfectly. It was growing. All of the radiologic findings that you expect on a pregnancy of that gestational age were going accordingly. And then last week, there was no heartbeat. So it might seem like a bad joke of the universe after all of that just to lose the pregnancy. It's like almost like, you know, life was throwing at her lemons. But even though it seems like the worst thing ever, and a lot of people would not be able to just keep moving, you can make lemonades, or like in Mexico, they would say you can make margaritas. Um, there's always a silver lining to the events that we have in our lives, and that is what allows us to survive this worldly experience. So in her case, even though it ended in a tragedy, she got pregnant when she was against all odds. For those of you that have had endometrial ablations, you know that one of the explanations, one of the risks is like you're going to destroy your lining. So pregnancy is contraindicated. It's considered not, not doable. So she was beating the odds. The fact that she got pregnant and her pregnancy made it to 7 weeks and 5 days, it's a miracle in itself, and it should be celebrated. Sometimes we focus on the big things. Sometimes we focus on the goal to an extent that we don't cherish the journey and understand all these little victories and little miracles that happen until the big celebration comes along. So the fact that she got pregnant on a uterus that was categorized as not usable and managed to get a pregnancy 7 weeks and 5 days tell all of us, including her, she can't do it. She's this much closer to success, and that pregnancy actually will prepare her uterus to take a pregnancy further along. And I am hoping and counting that it will be a home run and she can go home with a baby. Luckily for her, her biggest issue is her uterus. She does not have low ovarian reserve. um, and um, and she has some other PGT normal embryos that she can transfer to. So even though through this journey of fertility, we encounter so many sad and very, very difficult moments. Um, be gentle to yourself, have grace with you, you know. And once the grief and the pain subsides, try to see the positive side. What did you learn from the experience? What did the experience provide you in a positive way? After all, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So, what is it about that experience that might give you a tool, a stepping stone to get where you need to get? The second case I'm going to share with you guys, it's a lady. She had never been pregnant, had multiple sources, you know, she went through the whole thing of time intercourse, IUI, and finally IVF. Her first transfers, she does have low ovarian reserve, so she had to go through 3 IVFs in order to have enough embryos, because she would have one IVF to transfer, nothing happened. Another IVF, 3 transfers, nothing happened. And on her third IVF, she actually got pregnant. I mean, we were super, super excited, 42 years old. And her first pregnancy in her life, right? And ACG was rising. And then suddenly, once she came in for her obstetrical ultrasound, it was an ectopic pregnancy. Again, you know, all of that momentum to end with a lemon can be devastating, especially if you just, you know, allow that experience to leave you on the floor. But on the brighter side, she got pregnant. She can do it. She has embryos that will produce a pregnancy despite, you know, being against a lot and having an AMH of zero point 0.5 at 42. She will be able to accomplish her goal. And one of the questions that she had was, well, I mean, I'm bypassing my tubes. I mean, how did I end up with an ectopic? Unfortunately, even though we place the embryos in the appropriate place, they can migrate, and they can, it's a smaller group than spontaneous pregnancies and ectopics, but it can happen where it migrates into one of the tubes and creates an ectopic. So luckily for her, she did not lose the tube, because we caught it early enough that she was able to be treated with medication with methotrexate. I know it was a big blow for her as well, just like the first lady I'm describing. And it took her a while to, you know, lick her wounds and be okay. But once we were able to go past that, again, let's celebrate those little miracles, because every little miracle is getting you that much closer to your big, big, big rainbow baby. All right. So, you know, if God, life, the universe throws at you some lemons, let's just make lemonade, and let's just make the best of it, and let's look at that silver lining, and let's just keep pushing through. As long as there is life, there is hope. Okay. And there's nothing set in stone. I had another patient ask me the other day, will you take us as a patient? And she's 47. Yeah, she's 47 years old. She went to a local well-renowned clinic, and they told her they were not going to take her because of her age. And luckily, here at CNY, we take everybody and anybody, because history changes every day, and you are part of changing history. Okay? So may you all be very blessed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.